Today we're going to be taking a look at this big old bug right here. The first of its kind. We've waited 10 years for this girl. Is she going to be amazing or will we lose our heads? Let's jump into it. And here we have the female Muto from HIYA Toys. And while I'm saying female Muto, it might not actually be female Muto. If you're paying attention, we'll get into that in just a moment. But here she is, finally, originally slated for Q1 2024, then delayed to Q2 2024. We are now at the very end of Q2 2024, those final days, and she is here. She's been released in China. Still available, I think, on cooltoysclub.com as of the time of writing this or recording this, and I think there's still a unit available up on Entertainment Earth. Now, this packaging is certainly a step up from what we've come to know from HIYA Toys. This is probably one of my favorite packages from HIYA Toys, the other one being the translucent atomic heat ray Godzilla. I really like that one with the moon in the background. I've actually kept that box because I really like the artwork. But here, this is clearly drawing on the 2024 sort of key visual art very heavily, and then you have the figure, of course, displayed with some soldiers and a helicopter in the background. Packaging looks really, really, really good. Now, with what I was mentioning before, you'll notice that here it says Muto instead of female Muto, and on the back, it will also say product name Muto. So, the official listing had it listed as the female Muto, but now the actual packaging refers to her as just Muto, which is very interesting to me, and I do wonder what kind of implications this means for future Muto releases. Obviously, everyone is really looking forward to the male Muto, but if they're not going to use the gendered language, maybe they're just going to refer to him as the flying Muto. And then, of course, there is the Queen Muto from King of the Monsters, which, you know, is very similar to this design, so I would be shocked if we don't see a Queen Muto by the end of the year. So is it that we're going to go Muto, Flying Muto, Queen Muto, and then maybe Muto Prime? We'll see, I guess. So with all that out of the way, let's get her out of the box, and I'll give you my open, honest first impressions. Oh, look at that. So there she is, just kind of splayed out. Any tape around the edges? There is tape around the edges. So let's just quickly clear that out of the way. And I think that's it for that. Oop, it's one shell off. Little plastic mask. There she is. She slides out very, very easily. And here we have the female Muto. So, let's just get a sense of how the articulation feels. That arm feels locked in. That arm feels locked in. This one bends, okay. My foot. The foot does seem to want to move. That's good. I'm actually quite surprised that that joint there seems frozen. How about down here? That one seems frozen too. This foot seems fine. These are just kind of wiggling down here. Very cool. Arms, I don't think there's an elbow. No, there's no elbow joint deep in there. So, swivel hinge. I would really like to not need the hairdresser here. Okay. So she does move there. There's a little bit of paint flaking off. So, I'll have to... Okay, that one goes. Man, this girl is just... There's so many hinges and swivels. It's actually so much going on here. Well, that's... If you were wondering how they're going to do the engineering for the male Muto, or I guess the flying Muto, probably get a good sense there. Let's see. Okay, that one bends like that. And then this one. Yeah, these swivels are quite tight, which is good. You know, definitely want that to be secure. If yours is a little bit frozen, you know, hair dryer, hot water as a last resort. Jaw opens like that, and there's the fin, which is very cool. And I think, yes, they've hidden the copyright information down in there. So if this is all one separate piece, if I'm remembering what the Queen Muto looks like from King of the Monsters, she will just remove that. Or sorry, replace that with the correct crest, and you should be off to the races. Let's see, do I have to get any more of these joints? That. Like this. Yeah, okay. So. Feeling good. She's got a torso rock there. Very, very articulated. Lots of points of articulation here. There's a bit of a gap there. Jaw opens up like that. Yeah, overall, feels good. Feels really good. It's kind of surreal, actually, to be holding a Muto action figure. 10 years in the making, almost to the day. She feels really good. Feels really good, actually. Here she is, posed as if she's ready to go into battle against whatever lies in front of her. Now, this figure was revealed a while ago at this point. I want to say it was New York Comic Con 2022, maybe a little bit later than that. But when it was first shown off, obviously very, very excited. Mutos have been, I think, high on a lot of the lists of MonsterVerse fans in terms of wanting articulated action figures. You know, back when NECA had the license, people were asking, are you going to get to Mutos? And they were like, no, we're going to focus on Godzilla. So we never really had a good representation of these characters on our shelves. When the release date for the Mutos came and went, it was, you know, starting to make people a little bit nervous. Like, was the figure going to be canceled? I mean, HIYA Toys was rather quiet about what was going on with the female Muto. We actually heard of the delay into Q2 from KaijuCanuck Toys, I believe. It wasn't from HIYA themselves, but not too long ago, HIYA started showing off production samples of the figure, saying, sorry everyone for the delay, but she's almost ready, here she is. One of my big concerns that I had for this figure as we were starting to see more and more photos was that with a design as simple as the Mutos, there isn't a whole lot of areas to hide the articulation, right? With Godzilla, there's lots of scales, lots of crevices, because he moves like a non-insectoid kind of animal. Like, you can hide things in the folds and the wrinkles. With the Mutos, though, their shape is rather simple. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just sort of pointing out that, you know, it kind of is what it is. That there's not a whole lot of area to hide articulation. These arms moving, like, where do you hide some of these hinges? They just kind of have to be there. And so I was really worried that this was going to be a situation where you see the articulation first and you see the creature's design after the fact. This is something that Brian Flynn has talked a lot about in his interviews for Super 7. I'm happy to say that having her in hand, having her even under all of this lighting to get the shots properly, I'm not really too focused on the articulation. Like, it's there, yes, I can see it, it's, you know, it's not hidden by any means, but it doesn't distract me away from the aesthetic of the figure. Speaking of articulation, she is jam-packed with articulation. I think you can get her into pretty much any pose you want from the movie, and then some, right? I really think that you're going to be able to get some pretty neat poses out of her. And for any of you toy photographers out there, Harold over at Figure Mania show, of course, I think you're going to be really, really happy with what you have here. Hopefully she won't have to sit on our shelf alone for too much longer. I'm starting to see some reports saying that Godzilla 2014 from the HIYA Toys line is going to be coming out relatively soon. It was originally slated for Q3 2024, and of course we are just in the final days of Q2 2024, which means that Godzilla 2014 should be due technically any day now. And I'm really looking forward to that release. I never actually got a 6-inch scale NECA figure of 2014. I got the 24-inch head-to-tail one. And so I'm really looking forward to grabbing the 2014 figure when it comes out. Of course, you can expect to see that unboxing here on the channel. But in the meantime, here she is. I think that she looks really, really good, despite a couple of paint chippages. If the articulation seams don't bother you too much, I think you're going to have a really great time with this figure. I think that you have a lot to look forward to. So it's the next day, and I've just got done with some of the photographs that you'll see in this video, and I gotta say, as I'm moving her around, I am noticing quite a bit of paint chipping off of the swivel joints, which the paint's not really supposed to be there in the first place. So if you see the paint chipping off, that's unfortunately it's to be expected, but it doesn't necessarily feel good seeing the paint flake off of your figure like that. So if you get her in hand and you start to notice that there's a little bit of paint coming off as you're trying to move her around, it's to be expected. That's going to be it for me, but I'm curious to hear from you. Are you picking up the HIYA Toys female Muto figure, or are you skipping and waiting for a better release down the line? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd like to thank all of the Category 3 channel members, as well as everyone else that supports this channel. Your support is very much appreciated. Social media links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.